let's hear a little bit from Sean McVay on the team's offensive struggles, because even though there's a long way to go, there really isn't much they can do to make chicken salad out of the chicken stuff that we've seen the past few weeks. Here he is.
We've got to be able to run the football efficiently, and then when we do not run the football efficiently, we're having trouble protecting and being able to hold up, and then you can't give yourself a chance to let things develop. And so, I love Matthew Stafford. He is competing and doing everything in his power for this team. He needs some help, and we got to be able to help him.
There were a lot more comments made by Sean McVay yesterday. We posted something last night with his remarks, and at one point it was weird. He kind of wants to start calling people out, but he won't.
Yeah.
It's the one time he won't use anyone's name, frankly. But, he was kind of indirectly saying, we know who's stepping up and getting it done. We know who those guys are. And the implication is nobody else is. It's Stafford and it's Kupp, and everybody else is letting us down. That's basically his message. On offense. Defense is fine.
Right.
Defense would be good enough to win games if the offense wasn't being completely shut down. 19 points in 2 games, played 6 days apart. Total of 19 points. Are you kidding me? And there's really nothing they can do. We know that they have that F them picks mentality, but who's out there? I've made that point last night. They need to make a trade for the equivalent of the Von Miller on the offensive line. That guy's never available to be traded. There is no offensive lineman that is just waiting to be handed to a team where he's going to come make the difference. Oh, and by the way, offensive line play a little more difficult than defensive line play because you're working in concert with everyone else. And when your offensive line is bad, side to side, left tackle to right tackle, and all points in between, if you get one really great player, well, they'll just avoid him and they'll attack the other weaknesses. That's the thing. And a good offensive line, a quality offensive line, a competent offensive line has to be good all the way across because they'll find the hole and they'll exploit it wherever it may be, Myles.
It's got to be greater than the sum of its parts, right? It always is like that. And you always have to work in concert with one another. And that's what I'm saying, though. You have guys that the Rams would normally be playing in a preseason game out there against the Cowboys in week 5. That's why it's not working. The Rams don't play anybody of consequence in a preseason game, and they're going out there with their third center. You got the third guard, the fourth guard. The guard leaves in the game, and then you got to put in another one. That's why it's not working. But even so, you also have to have the skill players actually do something. Where is Allen Robinson? Has anybody seen him? Can we get his face on a milk carton? What's going on there? Why isn't this working? We've seen Allen Robinson. We know he is a talented receiver. Why is it that he's got 3 catches for 12 yards? And he's catching a 1-yard pass and a 5-yard pass, and they don't go back to him at all. I don't understand why it's not working between him and Matthew Stafford. And obviously the offensive line not giving Matthew Stafford time has a lot to do with it. But my goodness gracious, you need something out of that guy. I know Van Jefferson, they're missing him too. But Allen Robinson was signed to do something. He ain't doing nothing.
Well, and the belief was Allen Robinson has done pretty well over the course of his career with a bunch of bad quarterbacks. You finally pair him up with a good quarterback, and he's going to explode. Whether it's the offensive line, whether it's just taking time for him to get properly integrated into the system and get comfortable, or whatever the case may be, it's just not working. And there's a possibility he's beyond the point of his own personal expiration date, that it's just over. There's always a chance that's going to happen too, because he has been around the game for a while now, dating back to the Jaguars. I think he came in the same year as Blake Bortles, 2013-ish. He had some good years. He had some good years. Very good years. And it's just not happening right now. Here's the other issue with the Rams. And this is a point that Sims and I have made in the past, as the Rams were not only giving up picks to get current established players, but paying those players market value contracts. The risk you take is, if you do have a rash of injuries, you're relying upon players that are much cheaper than those you would ordinarily be getting to be your backups. You don't have a robust middle class of second stringers like the Patriots prided themselves on having back in the days when Tom Brady wasn't getting market value, and they'd leverage that to every other player. Well, who do you think you are, Tom Brady? He's not insisting on market value. So you're able to have these backups that were very good because you were paying them. they were happy to come be second string because they were getting paid well, and they didn't have to go out and be banged up all the time. They're getting good money to wait, and when it was time to play, they were able to play well. Rams don't have that. Rams need to be able to coach up players who were either undrafted or taken late in the draft, get them ready to go, get them ready to play when they need to, and especially on the offensive line, it's not working. That's the risk you take when you've got Aaron Donald and you're paying him ridiculous money. Jalen Ramsey, Bobby Wagner, who had a very good contract, Cooper Kupp's contract, Matthew Stafford's contract. They got a lot of highly paid players on that team, and that puts more pressure on making sure that your lower paid players can get it done when you need them to.
Absolutely, it does. For the most part, though, the Rams have been able to do that, right? We are still talking about the defending Super Bowl champions here, and it certainly doesn't look like the Rams are going to be able to be the first repeat winner in almost 20 years. But at the same time, they've been able to do it in the past. It's just that right now, with the way this team is constructed, it is just not working. And it's funny because the NFC West right now is completely up for grabs. I don't know what the best team is in the NFC West because all of those teams have some real significant flaws, but there is still a chance that the Rams can win this division. They've just somehow got to figure out a way to shore up the pass protection, because if they can't do that and if they can't run the ball, then there's no way in the world this team, even if it gets to the postseason, is going to win a postseason game. I mean, look at this. I mean, you guys, I mean, dude, you might as well just open the gate there and let the guy basically right through the middle of the offensive line. It's just, you can't function as an offense when that is the case. You can't do it. It will not work. And Rob Havenstein's been there a real long time. He's a good right tackle. They just gave him an extension. Got Joe Noteboom on the other side. He's trained behind Andrew Whitworth. He did a nice job last year in the postseason. But look, Andrew Whitworth ain't walking through that door, all right? John Sullivan ain't walking through that door to play center. Not getting Orlando Pace back to come in and play offensive line, all right? Like, you got to figure it out somehow in order to stay competitive, especially if you want to sign Odell Beckham Jr. for the back half of the season.
I wouldn't sign with them if I were him. I would not return to the Rams. Why would you? When you can sit and wait and jump on board a contest like you did last year. You pick the horse that you think is going to win the race. If you have the luxury of waiting until November, the middle of November, to pick your team, why would you pick the Rams instead of another team that seems to be far better equipped? I'd take the Cowboys over the Rams right now. Dak comes back. There was that question, is CeeDee Lamb ready to be the number one receiver? And I know Michael Gallup's healthy, but I'd be more comfortable if I'm OBJ playing for the Cowboys right now than the Rams, because the Cowboys are going places. The Rams, and they look, I don't want to write them off after 5 games, but the thing is, how are they going to get better? Like you said, guys aren't walking through the door. They're not going to wake up one day and have a better offensive line. Their only hope is the guys they have will get better through repetition and practice and effort and trying and working, and maybe they can find a way to improve. Whether
they should get some guys
Stafford,
back, though. Well, they should get some guys back. Like at center, Brian Allen, he should be back sooner than later. But that's only one part of the issue.
That's right. And look, Matthew Stafford may be in multiple parts by the time it's all said and done. You saw him on the ground yesterday, and he prides himself very quietly. And he's not like Ben Roethlisberger, where he exaggerates his injuries and talks about them and walks around with an ice pack on every joint on his body, like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. He just gets up and kind of does the John Wayne stride to the sideline, never complains, never talks about, and I said last week, he's probably got 5 or 6 injuries the team doesn't even know about, that he's just dealing with, that he's not even getting treatment for them, that he's just gritting it out and gutting it out because that's how he is. And whatever number of injuries he had going into yesterday's game, he's got more today. You could see he was banged up, and they've always been very reticent to be candid about Matthew Stafford's health, because he's very reticent to be candid about his health, but he always finds a way to just keep going. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.